Hello everyone! Welcome to episode 71 of The Ruins of Warsaw. I'm Alexandra and I'm the storyteller.
I am Dolores and I'm playing Janina of Clan Bruja.
Hi, my name is Faye and I'm playing Beatrice Wozniak of Clan Malkavian.
And as always, we have partners in the chat and taking care of tech. Sorry, I can't speak today. But we're very grateful for partners' help. And thank you all so much for joining us today to continue the story of Bea and Janina. We will start, as always, with a recap of what happened last time. So, last time we picked up with Bea, who just finished talking to Isidore, the now new Bruja Primogen, about her ghoul, who, so far, has refused to take more of her vita. And having concluded that meeting, not really finding the clear answer she maybe was hoping for, she went to leave a message for the Tremere, Mr. Cernovsky, with an update on how her task is progressing. In the lobby of Hotel Bristol, she bumped into another Malkavian, Rahela, who during a conversation had this sense that Bea is in danger and doesn't even realize it. Rahela also shared that kindred in Elysium generally consider Bea rather flaky and disloyal due to her entering relationship with Antoni, who supported the prince, quite quickly after the challenge to the praxis from the Venture Primogen, with whom Bea was associated by everyone. Worried about her place in the Camarilla, Bea went to speak to her Nosferatu friend Roman, who once again urged her to not trust Clan Tremere, that she's working for currently, and to put her own survival before performing her task. Then Bea left to collect some more bodies from Gravedigger to bring them to feed Arek, the gangrel imprisoned by the Camarilla. And as she was out, scared and contemplating her future, she felt someone looking into her thoughts at her fear of the Tremere and the task she was to do for them. She brought the bodies back to Hotel Bristol and fed Arek, who started healing. His legs started being restored to health from their withered state. And during a conversation, Arek said that he would take care of Bea in the Sabbat and teach her how not to be scared. Having left Arek, Bea met Edwin Cernovsky, the Tremere, who instructed her that she is to leave for Sabbat tomorrow and stay there until she receives further instructions or is retrieved. And overwhelmed by everything she's learned, Bea left the hotel with the intention of going somewhere looking for a place to hide. Meanwhile, Janina was with Nastia, having just made love and drunk more of her vita, becoming fully bloodbound. They spent some more time together in a ruined house, hugging each other, talking about neither of them really being able to join the other in their sect. And then they separated. But soon after that, Janina felt being pulled back towards the direction where she left Nastia. She went back carefully to investigate what this was, and came upon a scene in which Nastia was being attacked by the sheriff, Antoni Bielecki, and his two hounds, Clement, the Nosferatu, and Daniel, Janina's sire. Upon seeing Nastia in danger, Janina frenzied, and when she came to, she was held by Clemens and emerged from frenzy to see, in a moment of destruction, Daniel being cut open by the claws of Ezimishi Ziemowit, who appeared behind him out of nowhere. Ziemowit ripped into Daniel's chest, tearing him to shreds. And Janina didn't succumb to beast this time, but still attacked him, trying to hurt him to help her sire, but she didn't manage to save Daniel. However, she did manage eventually to overpower Ziemowit and beat him into torpor. And angry at having lost Daniel, wanting to destroy him, bit into his torpid body to drink and drain him of the remains of his vita and his soul. However, she was intercepted by Nastya, who initially asked her and begged her to stop. But when Janina wasn't listening and Nastya failed to pull her off Ziemowit, Nastya just managed to stake her and revived Ziemowit, telling him to go. After which she talked to Janina, who was really angry, and told her they were done, and walked away, leaving Nastya distraught and crying, determined to walk away despite the blood bonds pulling on her. And she headed towards the haven on the other side of the river that the coterie has to themselves. And that was where we ended. And we will pick up with Bea. Bea, you left Hotel Bristol to venture into the city. You wanted to find a place to hide. How far are you going? What's running through your head?
I'm going a bit further away from the hotel than I normally would, but probably not across the river. I'm scared. I feel out of control, or like what little control that I had is just kind of slipping from my fingers. My head feels like a mess. There's this knowledge of what Mr. Sosnowski has told me to do, and then the feelings of self-loathing from thinking I was a traitor and then realizing that actually this was instructions. But then there's also those feelings for Arek, that he was my friend, and I'm just confused and scared.
Do you look for somewhere to just sit and hide?
Yes.
You can easily.
Sorry.
You can easily find a dark corner of a ruined building that is abandoned. There are plenty of those in the city.
And I just kind of curl up in the rubble and just hug my knees to my chest. And I don't quite start crying, but just I feel this sort of emptiness sort of crawl into me as I'm just so emotionally overwhelmed from the last couple of months at this point.
And you're sitting there for a while, various thoughts running through your head. And eventually, suddenly, you realize that you feel calmer. Your emotions are less intense, or less overwhelming. And you hear footsteps emerging from around the corner.
I look up.
Roll your perception in occult with difficulty 8.
I have 3 successes.
So you see a figure of a man an older man, maybe in his 60s, maybe around 70, slightly hunched forward with grey hair and some snow caught into the strands of hair, wearing a dark black suit with visible signs of having been repaired and long their coat, similar with like stitches and patches. And as you're looking at this figure, you see the face of a man blending together with other faces of other people of different ages and genders, various faces fading and resurfacing, mixing together. And this person comes up to you with a slight smile on their face. They sit next to you, just in the rubble, leaning against the wall you were curled up near, and look to you with a slight smile. You're troubled, child, they say, and you hear the voice of the man, and within it echoes of many other voices, whispers, screams, and cries, echoing in the tone of his voice. Yes, you're visibly troubled. Your pain is so loud it can be heard across the city.
My apologies.
There's no need to apologize for pain. It is an intrinsic part of our existence. Sometimes we can find each other through it. So, what's on your mind?
My mind, I suppose.
The eternal trouble.
I just... I don't know how... I don't know how to make it work for me. I feel like I'm constantly fighting it.
What are you fighting for?
Safety.
A distant dream. Not impossible, but always distant.
And one that I don't even remember what it feels like. I wonder if I'd know it when I found it. If I found it.
You would. It's an unmistakable feeling.
Have you felt it?
Briefly. It can be an illusion, though. I'm not very fond of safety myself.
What are you fond of?
Exploration, change, helping the young ones of our Vita make it through. Last time we spoke, I advised you to find the core of who you are. Have you found it? Have you picked it?
I feel like it's drifting further away. I thought I had. And now I'm not sure anymore.
You need to be sure. That's one way to be. You are changeable, like I am. Not all of us are. You can be anyone you choose to be because of that. And now even more so, because there are two of you right now. Which one is Beatrice Wozniak? And does it even matter?
Maybe it doesn't. I suppose she's already died once.
Or many more times. It's all right to change and forget. But you need to have a core. You need to be something. It can be whoever you want to be. Don't try to hold on to everything, child. But the core that defines you.
I'll try to remember. I pull out my journal. And I note it down.
It doesn't have to be a thought. It can be a feeling. But it has to come from you. Not from what others tell you. Not even from what I tell you. But from you. No matter whether you are Beatrice Wozniak or not.
I'll think on it. I'll feel on it.
Do that. There's difficult times ahead.
Aren't there
You can't-
always?
They smile with this approving, if somewhat mischievous smile. Yes, there are, if you look far ahead. But now you caught the eye of some dangerous beings. There are worms that wiggle their ways into graces and power crawling all over you. There is the nightmare of the distant mountains, and an old lord of this land. I know you saw him, the smell of blood and the pale eyes.
Yes. Yes, that feels familiar. What's the Lord's interest?
There is an anger in his heart, and hatred that can only be satisfied by bloodshed. But it is not your blood that he's after. We had a bit of that conversation once.
You probably did.
We did. But it's not your mind which is at fault here. You were too eager to share everything you learned. You could not be trusted with that knowledge. Be careful, child. Careful whom you trust. Do you have people that are close to you, that you know you can rely on?
I thought I did. But I feel very replaceable to most people.
To most people you are. Are there exceptions?
I hope so.
Think on it.
I will.
And if you have those you can trust, rely on them. You will need help.
Thank you.
Of course, my child.
I appreciate your patience.
We only had few conversations. I have a lot more patience in me.
With a mind as leaky as mine, it is easy to forget.
Don't worry about forgetting. Some things can be forgotten. It's who you are that is important to remember. But it's not your name. It's deeper.
And I think on that.
Sorry?
And I think on that.
And what do you think?
It's hard to say, really. There does feel like there's something at the core of me, something intangible that I'm slightly struggling to put words to, which is tied into that sort of yearning for safety, wanting to protect those that I care for, or those that I've sworn to. That's harder to pin down, but something in there of wanting to offer something to others. There's something protective in there. underneath the fear and the confusion. And I wonder if I've been trying to be Beatrix of Wozniak for too long. And I'm not even sure that I'm the same person that she was. And perhaps it's sort of the emotional exhaustion, but the idea of letting go of things does sound very appealing.
The primogen of your clan is still smiling at you, observing. So, if I was to ask, who are you? Is there anything you can answer?
Could I use telepathy to send that sort of feeling to them?
Yes. Roll your intelligence and subterfuge. With difficulty 8.
I have 2 successes.
Then you can send some of it at least. The general feeling.
And so I do. Because I think that using words for it would be too incomplete.
They look at you. Smile a bit wider. Then be that.
Thank you.
I hope you'll find your place.
I hope so too.
Your sister will need you. I think she might need you right now.
Can you point me in her direction?
I'm not sure.
I'll look for her.
Her pain is quite resounding as well.
The city must be quite loud to you then.
It can be. But I like the multitude of voices. I won't keep you, child.
Thank you.
Take care of yourself and be careful.
You too.
They give you a smile and nod their heads in a serious, more solemn way. And then walk away. And before you realize you can't see them,
to stand up and then wonder where I might find Janina if she needs me. I pull out my journal and try and look for places that might be relevant. I pull up my map to sort of cross-check it.
the places associated with Janina would be her room at Hotel Bristol, your haven where her ghoul used to live, but she moved her ghoul out of there, and the lab where she's doing her experiments.
What sort of time of night is it at this point?
It's not like it's second half, definitely into the second half.
Okay.
It's not like about to be done. There's still some time, but it's like most of the night is behind you by now.
Okay. Could I sort of be closer to the haven or to Janina's lab?
Probably the haven.
In which case, I'll go there first.
So you're heading towards your haven. Meanwhile, Janina, you are walking across the city, and you're walking towards the haven, approaching Poniatowski Bridge, and you remember Daniel being torn apart by Zimovit and then crumbling into ash. You remember Zimovit smiling as he was fighting you, and then the taste of his vita, and almost of something more that awakened some memory in you. And you remember Nastya crying after you, furious and desperate as you walked away, full of anger. What's running through your head? How are you walking? Are you visibly angry?
Yes, I'm definitely visibly angry. I'm just storming, and I'm trying not to cry. But I try to avoid any people on my way. But I'm visibly angry and just tensed, and I might make some grunting noises as I walk, and I'm just trying not to cry, but I'm so pissed. Zimovit is my new archenemy. And Nastya too.
It is fairly late. There are mostly not many people around at this hour. There may be a couple who are walking back from a party or something, but no one approaches you. If they see you, they may be a bit taken aback, but they just let you pass as you are walking through the city. And what are you thinking about Nastya?
I'm just so furious, and I feel betrayed. If she let me kill him, then I would stay with her, because I needed her to console me, but right now I'm just pissed, and pissed isn't even the right word. I just feel betrayed and sad. And I'm just trying not to think about that I'm never going to see Daniel ever again. And I'm trying to think about the last things that we talked about. And I'm just so angry. And I think if I wouldn't go back, if maybe things would turn out differently. So I blame myself because I distracted him. Maybe if I wasn't there, he would pay more attention. So yeah, I think it's just a mess in my head right now.
You remember when you last spoke, when he said he didn't blame you for the diablerie of his other child and his musings on becoming part of the Camarilla, but also becoming more responsible, less aimless thanks to you. And with that mix of thoughts and turbulent feelings, you reach the building where you have your haven, and then walk into your flats.
Yes, and I think I'm just gonna... Is there a bathroom?
Yeah, there is a bathroom.
And then I'm gonna sit in the bathroom on the cold floor, And just then I finally start crying and just hugging my knees and just being very desperate and upset and loud.
And
I have to like try hold myself from like destroying the floor with my fists.
Do you think you control yourself, or do you give
I
it a
try
whack?
to, because right now I try to like
Pull your self-control
Okay.
with difficulty. I'm gonna say 8.
Okay. I had 10, but also 1. So
You're not gonna frenzy, but
Okay.
you are gonna like at some point just with anger
I prefer it.
hit the floor, and you see with your enormous strength the tiles are just cracked from when you hit them.
Yeah. So I'm just like sitting there and being upset, crying, being angry and sad.
Yeah. You approach the haven and start walking up the stairs to approach the flats. There is a vague familiarity of this place, but it feels less familiar than Hotel Bristol. Roll perception and alertness.
After the 1, I have a single success.
So as you approach the door, you hear quite intense, uncontrollable crying coming from the flat.
I quietly let myself in.
Janina, roll perception and alertness with difficulty 9, because you are...
Slide the cat away. What alertness and what?
Perception.
Okay, perception. Sorry. Okay.
No problem.
Okay, -1. I have. What's the difficulty?
9.
Okay, I have 2 successes.
So you hear the door open.
Okay, I think I just tense up and I just stop crying because like I'm scared it's Nastya and I really don't want to see her. So I'm just tense and I'm just being quiet.
Yeah, you hear that crying stops. It's coming from the bathroom.
Yeah. I close the door behind me. And if Janina's shut the bathroom door, then I'll sit on the opposite side of it.
I probably didn't because I thought I was going to be alone, so I just left it probably open.
I'll go and sit next to the open door where it's sort of before actually appearing, so I'm not visible, but I do speak up. I presume it sounded like Janina.
Yeah.
It's me.
Well, once I hear that it's Bea and not Nastya, a bit of tension falls away, and I relax a bit, and but I start crying again, and I just tell her, Daniel's dead. He's gone. And then I just start full on crying and breaking down.
I'd like to roll self-control to see if I'd be able to touch her.
Difficulty 6.
Okay.
And I probably like sob and I tell her it's my fault.
I have 2 successes.
Yeah, no problem.
In which case, I'd wanted to give her a bit of space, but I think that she does need something. So I come into the bathroom and I just kneel down in front of her and gather her into my arms and just hold her close and sort of rock her back and forth gently as she cries.
I will hug Bea back very tightly and just sob into her neck, chest. Mm, and I'm just telling her through tears that it's my fault, and that the same Tsimichi that killed Mara, that he killed him, and that I couldn't save him, and then Nastya didn't let me have my revenge, and I probably like tell her everything, but in a very chaotic, messy way. That
do you mention Antoni and Clemens who were there?
I will mention that once it's like when I calm down, and I will. She asks me to
I don't really ask any questions. Certainly not while she's sort of sobbing and crying.
I probably won't mention it until I'm retelling the story correctly.
Yeah, fair enough. That makes sense. So I just let her talk and cry and get through that outburst, and just rock her gently, and just keep her held close to me, and just feel the sensation of her tears sort of staining my clothes and pressing against my flesh. And I just hold her, and sort of a little bit almost a little intrusively, because this doesn't really feel at the moment, in Sertum's words sort of come to me as to who your core is, and this feels very true to that. Being able to be there for someone that I do care for. But I kind of push that thought aside because I want to be in the moment. And I sort of, as the tears sort of subside a bit, I'm just stroking her hair, and sort of turn and press the side of my cheek against the top of her head, and just try to be a soothing presence for her.
Okay.
I just want to say that you also see that Janina is hurt.
Right.
There is blood on her clothes. There are marks, wounds left by claws on her body. She's not very strongly hurt, but visibly.
Right.
That's all I wanted to add.
Thank you for adding that. It has been 3 weeks. Just for now, I stay just holding her.
I will just continue mumbling that it's my fault, and I don't tell her what happened, but it's more just emotional statements than a coherent story about how everything came to be. And then I'll just sob and tell her it's I feel it's my fault, that I could have saved him, and that I hate Nastya, and yeah, but I think after a while of sobbing and crying, I will just calm down a bit, and I just pour out of Ba's hug, and I just wipe my face and my hands into my clothes, and I just look at her and I just say, thank you for being here for me.
My hands reach forward and I take Janina's hands in my own. You're my sister.
Did you know I was here?
No, I took a guess.
Did Anthony told you? And I just because that's I think what I thought.
Yeah.
No, the Malkavian, the Primogen, they came to me. They told me that you needed me.
Thank you. And then I just like lay down and placed my head on Bea's knees.
And I sit there kneeling on the broken tile with my hand running through Janina's hair.
And now once I'm like a bit calmer, I just start like to tell her more coherently like what happened exactly. I will probably not like talk about, well, I tell her that like I was with Nastya like before, and then I was walking away, and everything else I will be in more like detail, at least what I remember, because like I frenzied at one moment, so of course I don't remember that. But other than that, I'll probably tell her absolutely everything.
So you get the sense of a scene there.
And I'm definitely start crying again once I'm talking about Daniel being killed.
I'm sorry.
Me too. This never should have happened.
No.
I can't believe I lost him. Again. And I can't believe what Nastya did. She didn't have let me kill him. It would make me feel better. He killed Mara. And now he killed Daniel. He kills everyone that I love. What if now he will want to kill you as well? And I will just pull on Bea and I just hug her tighter. Because I'm actually really worried that he might now want revenge.
And I'll sort of almost like fold myself in half so that I can lean over her and wrap my arms around her.
Mm-hmm.
And just murmur, "You'll have to find me first."
That doesn't make me feel better. But I'm not saying that. I just like sigh and just start crying again, but like more just like sad, less breakdown. And I just don't know what to do. I feel so lost without Daniel.
I know. I mean, I don't know exactly, but ever since Felicia left, I felt so confused.
That when she says that, I think there's like a memory of what Nastya said to me about Bea being in Sabbat with Felicia, and I think I just like roll my head and just like look at Bea and just ask her in a serious face, "Were you in the Sabbat?"
What?
Oh, I don't know. Maybe she was lying to me, but Nastya said to me, like not today, like before, that because I asked her to look for Felicia there too, so we could make sure that she's fine, and she told me that she saw her with you in the Sabbat.
Primogen. They said that there's two of me at the moment.
Two of you.
And I sort of think on it more and pull out my journal and start going back looking for something, because there's something there, there's something in the back of my head where this this is confusing me, but it feels like there should be something there that I'm forgetting. Do I find any reference to Ermina?
Yes, you would. Definitely, you would find references to Irmina being with your mortal husband, pretending to be you.
It wasn't me.
Okay, I believe you, of course. I'm just confused.
Ermina keeps wearing my face.
Oh. Okay. Well,
she's already taken the husband I had in life. I suppose now she's taken my sire too.
oh my god. That's crazy.
And I'm angry and jealous and resentful and hurt. But I look down at Janina, who's covered in both her cried blood and bled blood. And I push that away for now. Because that's... or I try to as best I can.
Okay, that explains it. You think Felicia is being fooled?
I think she'd be able to see through it.
Okay.
I've already pushed her away. I suppose it makes sense she'd find a better daughter.
She didn't find a better daughter. I think she just wasn't well, and she just needed to, I guess, find herself.
No.
We'll bring her back.
I don't think we will.
You don't want her back?
No, I do. I want her back, but I don't think she wants to come back.
Well, right now all I want is to see that the horrible person who took away 2 people that I care about gone. And I say it like in a determined, and like I'm sobbing, but when I say this, it's more like determined, because like I really want to do anything I can, even if it's helping Camarilla to just destroy Sabbat, but especially this creature. Oh my god. There's children in the Sabbat crying.
There are some wild children somewhere in the background.
Yeah. Apologies. This is what I get for having my window open.
That's fine. So you're sitting there together, Janina, thinking about revenge. Bea now told this about Felicia, but trying to focus on Janina. Is there anything more you discuss?
I think it's just me crying over Daniel, saying curse and cussing over Nastya. And I don't know, I feel pretty like numb after a few hours of just crying and being upset, so I don't know. I just feel like I would just lay there for a while and just, I don't know, hope that maybe this is a nightmare and I'm gonna wake up.
And you, Bea, you're sitting with Janina. What's running through your head?
I'm scared for her. I'm worried. I understand that she wants vengeance, but I really don't want her to go after Shimovit. I'm sort of taking in how injured that she is, and I mean, I suppose it could be worse, but it's just... And I'm also, I guess I'm also starting to grieve a little for Daniel, although I didn't know him anywhere near as well as Janina. And our relationship was a little bit complicated, at least in terms of my feelings on the matter. But he was still someone that I interacted with for a while, and I guess I take the moment to grieve because I'm going to forget him eventually.
Do you have any thoughts on Antoni?
I'm worried for him. I kind of want to go back and check on him. I want to know if he's okay. And I'm a little torn because I don't want to leave Janina here, but I'm also not sure if she wants to go back to the hotel.
No, she doesn't.
Yeah, you can still make it back, but you would have to leave soon and, like, not run, but, to make it safely, you would have to leave soon.
Janina.
Yeah.
I'm going to need to get back to the hotel.
Oh, of course. It's fine, just be safe.
But I don't
call
want
me
to
when you get back.
I don't want to leave you alone.
I'm sorry, I just can't. I can't deal with people and the hotel, and I just can't. I'll go back eventually, but I just need a day or two. Maybe if you meet Hannah, if you could send her here, so she could keep me company.
I could try, but... And in my journal, when I last looked through it, I know that I'm having to go tomorrow. I'm going to be going away for work.
And I feel like this, like I tense again, and just like grab onto her. Where are you going?
I'm going to the Sabbat.
I feel like at this moment, like my eyes just like widen in fear, and I just like pull away. What? No, you can't go there. I won't allow it. You'll get hurt.
It'll be all right.
No, it's not. And I feel like I start to panic and just like crying. And I'm already imagining Bea dead.
If I'm picking up on that at all, which I feel like it's not hard to.
Yeah,
well, you definitely see her start crying more.
Yeah, I think I'm not like in the emotional state to hide how I feel.
I lean forward and brush some of her hair out from her face, and I just shush her gently, and I'd like to use passion
Oh no.
to lower her emotions.
Sure. Janina, what's your humanity?
Give me a moment.
Hi, I seem to
7,
remember.
I think.
Oh no.
6. Okay, wait, let me count.
I think it should be 7.
No, it's actually 6.
She did have
6.
that whole thing with the patients.
Yeah, I have like 2 of them crossed, so I guess 6.
Yeah, then it fell to 6. Okay.
Oops.
Well, then
Yeah, I did a
charisma
oopsie.
and empathy with difficulty 6.
Charisma and empathy. Just casually losing my own stats. It's fine. Difficulty 6. I somehow don't think that polite's helping me here.
No.
You know it wouldn't help you with
No.
Janina.
Not with Janina, no. That is 3 successes.
In which case, Janina, you feel calmer. The distress, the fear, the anger.
Do I realize that what she's doing?
Roll intelligence or roll perception. And I think occult would be the one, but I don't think you have
Yeah,
it.
I don't know.
Roll perception with difficulty 8.
Okay, I have no success, so...
So you realize you feel calmer. You don't know where that came from. Maybe it's just Bear's company.
Okay.
You don't realize it's her supernatural thing.
Well, in that case, like I just take a few breaths, even though like out of habit, and I just look at her, and with a serious face, I just tell her, "Please be careful. If I lose you too, I will give up."
I take her face in my hands and I press a kiss to her forehead. I'll be careful.
Please be careful. And I'm trying, like, I'm calmer, but I still, like, my eyes still fill with tears because I just worry for her safety. I worry that, like, Ziemovic might hurt her, or Nastya might. I don't want Bea near Nastya. But I just try to gather myself, and I just tell her, I hope you get to speak with Felicia at least. Maybe you'll convince her to come back.
Maybe. I don't look particularly convinced by this, but I go along with it anyway.
Okay then. Are you leaving tomorrow? Okay. Please call me when you get to the hotel, and I'll call you. Let's call before you leave, at least.
Okay. And I write it down in my journal.
Okay. And I just give her a big, tight hug and just whisper to her, please be careful. I love you, and I just can't lose you. You're my sister, and you're all that I have left right now.
And I stroke her cheeks. I look at her. I'll do my best.
I know you will. Please just think of yourself. You're more important than anything Camarilla would do if you failed your mission. So just think of yourself. Because if you won't return, then it's over for me too.
I squeeze her hands very tightly. Roman gave me similar advice. And I've got to come back for the two of you anyway.
You should. We need you. And you need us. And I give her also a kiss on the forehead. And I'm sure Anthony needs you too. tell him I'm sorry.
I will. And I don't like leaving her like this. I actually find myself wishing I didn't have to. But I know that I need to be at the hotel tomorrow, so I have to. So I leave.
So you leave and start walking back towards Hotel Bristol. Janina, how are you feeling after Bea has left? What is running through your head?
I still feel calmer and a bit more composed. I'm still like crying over Daniel. And I'm pissed at Nastya, but right now I think I'm more sad for Daniel. Once like Bea calmed the most of my anger and my anxiety. So I'm just like sad and I'm just replaying moments that we had together with Daniel, how we met, how we interacted, how good of a person he was, and that I just miss him. I miss him already, and it's still like, it's hard to believe that I'm never gonna speak to him again. And it's just, I'm just in a lot of emotional pain. But I'm calmer. I'm not throwing my fists around. I'm just probably laying on a couch and hugging a pillow and crying.
You remember Daniel, and as you do, you realize that not all the memories are the ones from your life. You remember him imploring you to drink, to feed. You remember drinking his Vita. You remember him laughing with Isidore and Zoya and Wanda and Oscar at the Arek hideout. You remember them sneaking together and sneaking with them, running away from the Sabbat. There are memories there that are not your own as well.
It just makes me so sad. I just feel like I didn't cherish our time together more. I wish I could save him, and I'm just so tired of losing people. And like, I'm so angry at Nastya, like, because now I feel like I mourn her as well, because I don't want, like, part of me loves her and still cares for her, but I really don't want her in my life anymore. And so I mourn, I guess, our relationship as well. Because before, like, we couldn't be together, but I still felt like we were together, but right now I just don't want her in my life, and I wish I never met her. So I'm just crying and being a sad vampire.
At some point the phone rings.
I'll take it because I hope it's Bea calling that she made it safely.
So when you pick up, you hear a voice saying Janina, and it's not Bea, it's Magdalena de Tremere.
Okay.
Janina, is that you? Are you alright?
Yeah. Yes, I think it like takes me for a moment like to recognize her and like to place her, because I'm not as used to her voice, especially like not in this state. But I just like compose myself. I just stop sobbing and just calmly answer, yes, I'm fine, I'm safe.
I heard some of what happened. I wasn't sure where you were gonna be, but I got the number for this place.
Oh,
How are you?
not great. But I'm safe. Bev was here. She should be back at the hotel very soon.
Alright, that's good. Are you hurt? Do you
No,
need blood?
No, I'm fine. Everything's fine. Thank you. I'll be fine. Is Hannah okay? Please comfort her and tell her that I'm safe.
I will do that, but are you sure you're alright?
Yes, I just need to be alone. I wouldn't be good company right now.
Alright, I'll leave you alone.
Thank you. But thank you for checking on me.
Make sure Hannah is okay.
Thank you. I appreciate that so much.
Take care
Tell
of
her-
yourself.
Please tell her that if she wants, she can come visit me tomorrow if she has time or wants to.
I'll do that.
Thank you. Have a good night.
Take care.
Thank you. And I just placed the phone down and I just, at one side it really feels like nice that Magda is checking on me because I'm fond of her. But at the same time, I'm just not happy that everyone's gonna have this phone number.
Meanwhile, Bea, you return.
Phone calls, truly the worst.
They are. You return to the hotel eventually.
I'll ask if I can briefly use the phone to call.
Yes, you're taken to the room behind reception.
And I awkwardly dial the number for our haven.
Janina, the phone rings again.
Okay, I'll take it, but more reluctantly right now. And I say yes.
Janina, it's Bea.
Oh, it's you. Thank you.
I'm back now.
Thank you so much for calling. I'm glad you made it safely. And there is like genuine relief in my voice.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm really happy to hear Bea's voice and to know that she's safe, at least for now. Please take care of yourself. I love you so much.
I love you too. And do the same for me as well, please.
I will. Promise.
Thank you. Nothing reckless while I'm gone.
Okay, same goes for you.
I'll try.
And good luck with everything. I know you'll do well, but please just take care of yourself first.
Thank you. I will.
Okay.
And I'll wish her good night and hang up.
Yeah.
And where are you headed, Bea?
I'd like to ask, oh my goodness, Mariusz, yes, for some reason my brain just went entirely blank there. I'd like to ask Mariusz if Antony has returned to the hotel.
He has, Miss Wozniak. I know he had a meeting with the prince.
Do you have any idea where I might be able to find him?
Not at the moment, no.
Right. Well, thank you anyway. In which case, I guess I'll sort of head in whatever makes more sense logistically somewhere between Antony's room, maybe sort of some of the more central back offices, and if I don't find him in either of those spots, then return to my room.
So you wander around and you walk the way between the offices and Antony's room, and he's not there and you start walking towards your room, and you see him emerge from a corridor, clearly heading towards your room as well. And he looks to you, a bit surprised.
I would like to run up to him, and I'm going to roll self-control again.
Go for it.
3 successes.
2 successes. So before you run up to him, you see that his coat and suit, they're not like torn, but a bit scraped, a bit muddy. There are some scrapes on his neck, his hands. He doesn't appear to be seriously hurt, but there's clearly marks of something happening to him that haven't been healed or cleaned up yet.
I sort of run up to him and gently sort of take his hand if I can.
Yes, you can. He lets you. He looks to you. Bea, I was hoping to find you.
As was I. And I stretch up and caress his cheek slightly.
Perception and empathy. Difficulty 6.
Perception and empathy. Ooh. Difficulty 6. Oh boy. Okay. Does insightful or hidden pain apply here?
Hidden pain.
Cool. 8 successes.
Well, he had 3, so that's quite a lot. So you see, as you take his hand, you look to him. You see that, like, physically he's mostly all right, and he's trying to put on, like, fairly composed face. But you see that he is absolutely mentally broken and shattered. You see that he feels guilty, and just broken, empty. Unsettled, nervous.
Okay. My hand sort of traces the side of his cheek and down his jaw. And then I just say to him, let's go back to my room.
All right then. And he follows you.
And I lead him by the hand. And once we get back there, I take his coat off and put it on a hanger, and then just sit next to him on the bed and just gently stroke his face.
He leans against you a little bit, not really saying much.
I press a kiss into his hairline.
And then he looks to you, and there's more. You see a worry there. Like he suddenly remembers something, and it scared him. And he says, I heard you're leaving tomorrow.
Yes.
I'm sorry. I should have protected you from it.
And I cup his face in my hands, and I just look him straight in the eye. I chose this. Maybe not this exactly. But I chose to do this because I hoped I could help.
Everything in me tells me it's the wrong choice.
Well, I can't stop it now. I will do my best to get back.
Please.
And brush his cheeks with pads of my thumbs, and I lean in and kiss him.
He kisses you and then says, please, I need you to come back.
I need to come back. And I rest my forehead against his.
He strokes your hair very gently, caressing your cheek as well. I don't know what's going to happen. And he stops, and you see this pain in him that just stops him from talking. And again, the guilt and the anger. And then he just stops and asks, "Have you seen Janina?
Yes.
Is she all right?"
She's heartbroken, a little scraped up, but she'll be okay. She wanted to say that she's sorry.
She sort of shakes his head. I'm glad she made it.
I take him into my arms. I'll briefly give him a rough summary as to what Janina told me. But I just kind of hold him.
I will need to speak with her. It will be expected.
I calmed her down as best I can. Hopefully that should help for a little while.
Will she come back?
She doesn't want to right now. I, the player, have already kind of blanked that you
She said a day or two.
Okay, in which case I'll say I will relay that. I guess I will just tell him where the haven is, because it's my haven too, I guess.
Not sure we have a day or two.
Oh, she'll be there. I can give you the phone number as well if you need, but...
Shakes his head again. Thank you. I'm glad she's all right. I feared she was lost as well.
I'm sorry about Daniel.
And you see the pain he's been hiding just clearly visible on his face, and some frustration, you think, with himself, some disgust with himself and the world, as am I. I thought I could get her for the Camarilla.
To just pull him close again, because I don't really think there's anything that can be said. So I just take him into my arms, and in a slightly different way to with Janina, but still kind of gently rock sort of back and forth with him, and run my hand down his back and attempt to soothe him as best I can.
And he leans into you, and you feel his body very tense, relaxing a little bit, but not fully, as he leans into you, taking comfort in your presence and touch, but clearly still distressed. And eventually you start feeling heavier and more sleepy, as you know the dawn is approaching.
And I'll spend a moment, I'll eventually sort of pull back and then take a moment to sort of loosen his tie and top button, and try to make him more comfortable, fussing over him in a way, pressing kisses against his forehead between each action, and eventually lie down with him on the bed.
You see him relax in your presence, not fully, but visibly. You see clearly you had such a good role that he's finding comfort in your presence and in just being with you in silence as you lie down next to him.
And before we fall asleep, I just lean in and whisper to him, I love you.
I love you too.
And I kiss him once more.
And you fall asleep together on your bed. And you, Janina. There is a little bit more time, but eventually you also start feeling sleepy, exhausted.
I'll probably just stay on a couch. I will probably not move and just stay there. And just probably fall asleep with thoughts about Daniel and what happened and just crying.
And you both fall asleep as the sun rises. And I think we'll take a break now. We will be back in about 15 minutes. So please stay with us to continue the story of Bea and Janina the next night. And we will see you after the break. And welcome back. Thank you all so much for staying with us. And let's continue with the story of Bea and Janina. Janina, you are dreaming of being with Nastya. In your dreams, you are happy and safe in her arms. You feel her touch. You have the taste of her vita on your tongue. You're lying with her, caressing her body, smiling at her as she plays with your hair, calmly, in silence. And you wake up on the couch with face covered with tears in still blood-stained clothing. And your first thought is that you miss her.
Okay, I think, yes, I wake up and I miss her. And I think there's, for a moment, I don't remember, what happened. And I just, wake up and I feel that I miss her and that I'm gonna see her. But, then I, see my clothes and I remember that Daniel was dead, that she didn't help me finish Zhimovit off, and that feeling of missing her turns into anger and frustration and feel of betrayal, and I'm mad at myself for even missing her.
And you realize you hear footsteps in the kitchen and clanking of something there.
I think I get alerted, but I try not to. I just sit up and get up and walk there silently.
Do you want to sneak?
Yes, I want to peek
then,
if it's Hannah or someone else.
Roll your dex, stealth, and add your celerity.
Okay.
Difficulty 6.
Stealth and celerity. What's the difficulty?
6.
Okay. Then I have three successes.
Then you sneak up to the kitchen and have a look in. And you see Hannah there washing a pot. And she doesn't appear to see you at all. Okay. She's focused on what she's doing.
Well, I calm down and stop being sneaky, trying to be sneaky when I see, and I just say, hey.
Janina, And then she looks to you, and you see this fear and worry at her face immediately. And she gives this little gasp, like, "Oh my God. What happened?"
Didn't she see me when she walked into the apartment?
Well, she saw you, but you were kind of
Yeah,
lying on a
okay.
couch. She didn't presumably come up to
Okay.
have a look at the entirety of you.
Okay, in
And
that
now
case,
she sees you in your blood-stained
um,
clothes with wounds.
I just try to give her like a smile. It's
You're
like
right.
genuine but like sad smile. Yes, I'm fine. I'm just a bit scratched.
I
It's
have
fine.
something for you. Magda said that you might need it. I took some blood from the clinic.
Thank you. That's so nice.
And she opens the fridge, and in there you see 3 jars of blood.
I will take one. And I guess I drink it right in front of Anna. I don't care at this moment.
She's looking to you, encouraging you. Have some more.
Okay. And I'll drink everything.
So
am I
that's
to say
6
no?
blood points that you can get from it.
That's more.
Is that more than you have in your blood
because
pool?
right now I have 7 and I normally have 12, I think.
So what you can do, you can either drink it all and heal 1 aggravated damage.
Yes, I'll do that.
Then basically you would add 1 blood point in that case. Because 5 of these will be taken to heal. And there's 1 extra one that you can drink.
Okay, so I will have like 1.
Yeah, I'm gonna save you all the maths. You just add 1 blood point and detract 1 aggravated damage.
Okay, good.
All players curse. Maths.
Okay.
And you feel your body mending, and Hannah's looking at you, at your wounds that are starting to close a bit.
I hope it doesn't scare you. I'm sorry, I'm just too tired.
No, I'm just glad you're better.
I'm gonna take a shower.
Go ahead. I'll be here. Do you need anything else?
No, just your company. Thank you for being here. And I lean in to hug her, but then I realize that I'm bloody and I don't want to gross her out. So I just stroke her hair and go to the shower.
When you go to the shower, you step under the water, start washing some of the blood, your tears and blood from your wounds of your body. And what's on your mind?
Well, I think Daniel. I think I just start crying again in the shower, but I wash it away, and I don't know. I'm trying not to spiral, but it's very hard because I'm mad. And I'm mad at Nastya, the feeling that I feel towards her right now is just anger and betrayal, and just my mind keeps slipping between sadness for Daniel, worry for Bea, and anger for Nastya. I think that's my main 3 things that keeps rolling in my head.
And you're taking a shower, seeing the redness of your tears mixing with the water being washed away, but you cry more. Meanwhile, Bea, you are running through a ruined city. The ground is shaking. The smoke is thick around you. It's wrapping itself around you, trying to grasp your neck, grasp your limbs. You see in the dark smoke faces that you almost recognize, faces that fill you with fear. You see, as they look on you, their eyes dark and deep in the smoke, each one like an abyss, ready to suck you in and make you dissolve in the darkness. And their hands reach to you through the smoke, wrapping themselves around you like vines. You keep running, trying to shake them off. You haven't realized when they got so close, and now they are all around you, almost strangling you, almost holding you in place. Sharp thorns just cut into your flesh as you're running. You try to pull away, you fall to your knees, scraping the skin of your legs on the rubble as the ground is shaking, and the tendrils of smoke, the thorny vines enveloped by it, start seeping into your throat as you open your mouth to scream, holding you in place. Getting ready to strangle you. Thoughts flash through your head. You want to get back to your sire, Felicia, get back to Antoni, get back to Janina, and you want to call them, you want to shout their names, but you can't make your voice leave your throat as you are being strangled and crushed through the smoke and through the thorny vines that now smell more and more like blood. And you are completely immobile, struggling against the vines and blood and darkness. But you can't move, you can't scream, you're just there among the shadows, and the smell of blood is getting stronger. You wake up, and you feel somebody's hands on your hands.
Jolt. Come to. And try to sit up.
Can you speak up a bit or move closer to the mic? Sorry.
Yes, I probably can. I jolt and sit up, or try to as best I can.
Yeah, you can. You're not like fully held. You're just holding Antoni's hands. But you can pull back easily.
And sort of as I sort of sit up and then take in sort of what's happening, I take a moment to sort of steady myself, stabilize. And then I look down at him again, and once I feel a bit more in control, I reach out to try to see if I can touch him.
Roll your self-control. Difficulty 6.
Do I lose dice penalties on...
Not on this,
Okay.
but on all the pool, like dice pools.
Mm-hmm. I have 2 successes. So
You can.
my hand sort of shakes a little bit, and at first I'm scared I won't be able to. But my skin brushes his, and I take his hand once more. And this time, because I've chosen it, because it wasn't a surprise, it feels less uncomfortable, less like needles under my skin. And I just hold his hand and stroke it and just look at his sleeping face. And I feel sad for him. I can't quite remember why, but I presume he still looks a little bit scraped up, even if he's not.
Yes, he still does, yeah.
Okay. So I just keep sitting with him and brush my fingers through his hair, trying to neaten it up slightly.
As you're doing that, and you see the dried up blood on some scrapes on his body, you feel a little bit of hunger inside you. Please roll your self-control.
Uh-oh.
Difficulty is 5 for this.
Well, thank God I had 2 successes, because that one could have made that a bit interesting. 1 success.
So you feel inside you something like the desire to suddenly lick blood off his neck and his cheek and maybe bite in for some more. You control it, but it surprises you by how strong it is.
I'm immediately annoyed at myself for not having taken care of that before I went to bed, but so I sort of step away a little bit, because I don't want to hurt him. I don't want to let instinct take control there. And I sort of stand there, sort of watching him from a little bit further away, and then go to sort of clean up a little bit. And when I step into the bathroom, I'd sort of take a look at myself in the mirror and just see that my clothes are just drenched in blood.
Well, they're not drenched in blood,
sort of
but there's stains there.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm sure it can be more drenched later. Anyway,
maybe when you get to Sabbat.
Great. So I try to clean up as best I can.
No problem. You can change your clothes, take a shower. And Anthony is still sleeping as you step out.
And I want to sit next to him. I want to care for him, but I'm scared of hurting him. So I think I sort of sit at the end of the bed and just wait until I hear him stir, but I try to not be too close for now.
And you sit there for some time, and eventually he stirs.
And at that moment, I
moves.
Come back up to sit next to him.
He looks around, clearly looking for you, and then smiles a bit when he sees you. And then you see some memories and thoughts return to him, and he doesn't quite slump back onto the bed, but he almost does and needs to steady himself. But eventually he sits up next to you, looking straight ahead, and then to you.
When he turns to me, I cup his face in my hands and press a kiss to his forehead.
He kisses you on the mouth very gently.
And I stroke his face.
I really want to tell you not to go, but I know I can't do that. And if I do, well, it's not going to do anything.
And I lean my forehead against his. I almost went to hug him, but I decided I wanted to keep my mouth further away from his neck. I'm sorry.
It's not your fault.
I suppose. And I look him in the face and just say, I love you.
I love you too, Beatrice Wozniak. Come back to me.
I want to. I'll do whatever I have to.
He nods his head. Please.
I squeeze his hand very tightly. And I'm aware that I clearly have somewhere to be, So, not letting go of his hand, I just turn slightly and pull my journal to me. And take in the mess that I left off with last night.
You see the information of where you're going and that you are to call Janina beforehand.
And that Felicia has replaced me.
That too.
And sort of as I'm reading it, I sort of slowly end up slumping, so my head sort of rests on his shoulder. As I'm just feeling more and more demoralized reading through my notes.
He sits with you.
If you see me once I'm gone, be cautious. One of the Sabbat keeps wearing my face.
He nods his head. I'll remember that.
To just sort of lean in again. I don't want to hurt you. I don't want you to get hurt. I suppose that's a bit of a hazard of the occupation.
I'm afraid so.
And I sort of look up at him, and wherever there's a scrape on his face, I press a kiss to it.
He relaxes a bit as you're doing that.
And sort of, as I do this, I suddenly have that sort of feeling of hunger again.
You do.
And I suddenly pull away a little sharply. Are
you alright, Belle?
Apologies.
I mean, clearly not, given everything, but in this moment.
In this moment, I'm sitting next to you, so it can't be that bad. I link my fingers with his, but I should really go feed.
And I should. I don't even know what I should do. Pick up the pieces, I guess.
And this time I take his face in my hands and I press a firmer kiss to his mouth.
He kisses you, but you feel this tension now in his body again.
I believe in you.
You're one of the few who still do. I'm sorry. I shouldn't burden you with this.
I'm here for you. It's not a burden. When I come back, whatever happens, I want to come back to you.
He nods his head. Please do.
I really should go.
Go. Feed. I will be thinking of you. If you don't come back for too long, I'll go and get you myself.
I don't want you put in danger. But
I am in danger every night. If anything, last night reminded me of it more than I would have wanted. but it's worth taking a risk for you.
And I just feel my heart swell. Just hearing him say that, I'm scared for him in case he does do something reckless, but I've been scared that I'm so replaceable to so many people, but knowing that someone cares for me as much as I care for them, it means something. And I can't stop myself. I have to kiss him again.
And he kisses you.
And then sort of, as I find my teeth sort of moving to his lips, I pull back, steadying myself.
He gives you a smile. I know you need to go and I need to go. This has been our relationship so far.
Maybe one night we'll be able to spend the whole of it together.
Maybe.
I'll hold out hope yet then.
As will I. And you see that there is hope there, and there is, like, you would like that, but there are some darker thoughts tied with it, mixed with it still.
And I squeeze his hand once more as I pull back. And I go to leave.
And he leaves with you, and you separate in the corridor. And you start to head out of the hotel.
Yes. I'm looking for something, someone easy to feed on.
You start heading out. Meanwhile, Janina, you spent a while in the shower. You washed your body as much as you could. Do you still have 2 aggravated damage?
I think I was at -1.
But how many actual things do you have?
It's hard. Wait a minute, I'll try to see. I'm not sure, but because I think I only marked, but I definitely had 1 aggravated, but I'm not sure if I had more.
You had definitely more than 1 because you were
Okay.
at -1. So
Yeah, that's like, but I guess I didn't write it down. I only write the penalty, so I'm sorry.
Oh, right. No, you should be writing how much damage you have because that's important.
I think you were injured.
Yeah.
So I think you're
Yeah.
probably down to hurt now.
Yes, right now I'm at hurt, yes.
All right. Okay. Thank you, Faye.
Yes, thank you.
Yeah, because like the same penalty is on different. You can have
Yeah,
1 or
like
2 damage.
the health system is very like confusing to me.
Yeah.
I apologize.
Yeah. No,
I'll write it.
don't worry about it. I know there was a lot going on in that fight. But anyway, you're still hurt.
Yes.
But your wounds have closed a little bit. They still hurt, but less so.
Okay. I think I don't really care about like I feel them, but it doesn't bother me too much. I think I'm just gonna put some spare clothes that we have laying there, some like shirt and pants, and I'll come back to find Hannah, whatever she's doing.
So you see Hannah is now cleaning the couch where you were lying, trying to clean some bloodstains off it.
Oh no, I feel guilty.
But as she hears you emerge from the bathroom, she stops and she looks at you.
I'm so sorry. You don't have to do that.
Oh no, I want to clean it so that it doesn't leave a permanent stain.
I'm sorry. Thank you.
It's no bother.
How are you doing?
That's something I can do pretty well.
Mm.
I worried about you.
I'm sorry. I just...
What happened?
I kind of don't want to like scare her too much, but I tell her that there was a fight with some like the other, like I think I just like briefly explained to her about like the Sabbat, but like just like briefly, because like to be honest, I don't know much. I just know that they're evil.
Yeah.
So I probably like just say something like for her to like understand, and that there was a fight. And did I told her about Nastya? Did they met?
I think they may have met briefly. Yeah.
I don't remember. I don't remember
Yeah.
if they met or not. But if she knew her, then I would like tell her that like she betrayed me and stuff.
Just I'm sorry.
And I'll just tell her that Daniel died in the fight. I won't like tell her about like my attempt at diablerie and stuff. That's I'm not gonna tell her. Let's not burden her.
She looks a bit shocked at that. Your friend Daniel.
Yes, my sire. He's gone.
And
I think I'll just...
Janina, you must feel awful.
I'll start like tears swell in my eyes, but I just like stop myself because I don't want to clean everything again. So I just swallow the pain and just like nod. And after like a moment, while I gather myself, I'll just sigh and just tell her that I'm gonna miss him so much.
I'm sorry. It really hurts losing someone close to you.
It really does. I already thought I lost him once, then I found him, and I guess I was selfish. I didn't cherished our time more.
You did. I saw you together. It was clear you're close and care about each other.
No, he was like an older brother to me. He always cared for me, and I made his life hard because I'm so reckless. But he finally started to feel more comfortable and with the Camarilla. And now he's gone, and he won't have his peace. And I'm so angry. But yeah, let's change the topic. This is so painful right now. I don't want to stain my new clothes. And I try to like...
Don't worry, I can wash them.
Oh, you're so sweet. How are you feeling working with Magda?
It's all right. She sounded worried about you. She didn't really tell me what happened.
Yes, she called me to check on me, which is very nice and unexpected.
She's very supportive, but very focused. I think she spends a lot of time at the lab.
She's a hard worker.
She is. She spoke to Mr. Potocki a couple of times now. I think they get on okay.
That's good. That's good to hear. I'm glad.
I don't really understand it when they talk sometimes. It's all, well, much smarter people talk.
Oh, I know how that feels. But you're doing great, and I'm proud of you. And I just like stroke her hair.
I don't believe you know how it feels. You talk like that sometimes too. The professor talk.
Yes, but I know people who talk smart. smarter than me, and I maybe in different areas but of like expertise, but we all feel like that sometimes when it's out of our knowledge.
Yes, I suppose so.
But I'm proud of you. You're doing so good. And I just like stroke her hair, kiss her forehead, and just hold her hand, and just give her a supportive, sad smile that I appreciate that she's here for me.
And she smiles at you and sits with you and tries to distract you clearly by telling you about her writing lessons and reading lessons she went to.
I try to listen, but like at the back of my head, there's just like the image of Daniel telling me to run, and him like just turning into ash in front of my eyes, and it's just hard to push away. But I try to, I smile and just like ask her questions, just like small talk.
And you talk for some time, but you still have that image in your head. Meanwhile, Bea, you are walking out of the hotel, and in the lobby, you see, also stepping out, Joachim, dressed quite elegantly, in a grey short coat, and he's walking with an older woman, also dressed in grey. She has a cane, white hair, and dark eyes. And they're coming towards the exit together with you, and you see that Joachim smiles at you and gives you a nod.
I guess if I get there first, then I'll hold the door for the pair of them.
And they pass you in the door. Joachim thanks you, wishes you a good evening. And the woman looks to you and she says something to you. I think just a thank you in German. And you see that she considers you for a moment. She doesn't say anything more, but she just gives you a longer, assessing, considering look.
Can I read anything in her expression?
Roll perception and empathy.
Perception and empathy -1. I am going to do my best to try to remember the penalties as much as I can.
26.
Yeah. Ooh. I've got a couple of 10s in there.
I don't think any of your specialties would come in, though.
Cool. That's fine. Well, then that's just 4 successes. Just a casual 4 successes.
You can't really tell anything more.
That's fair. Alas, Tremere.
And she starts walking away, and Joachim looks to you maybe a bit longer, and you see there's a little bit of maybe worry, like he wants to ask something, and then he just mouths like, sorry, I need to go. And he follows after the woman.
I sort of give him a polite but reasonably controlled smile back. And I feel somewhat unsettled. But I already felt unsettled, so what's new?
And you go to try to find someone to feed from. Roll your wit and alertness with difficulty 7.
Wits and alertness. Oh boy. Okay. 2 successes.
So you start wandering around, trying to find someone on their own. And you see, eventually, a young man sitting in one of the ruined houses, and he's playing harmonica.
Hmm.
And he's just playing some music. And then he stops
Okay.
and looks into the sky, lights a cigarette, clearly deep in thoughts. He's on his own.
I think I was a little almost enchanted while I was listening to him, even if it wasn't necessarily very good. Just
It was alright. It wasn't. It was just casual music making.
but it was a reminder of life, just life happening. And I just take a moment to appreciate that. And I find myself thinking as I step closer to him, probably still under a blanket of obfuscate, but I feel like I'm imposing on it. His moment of peace, his moment of private thoughts.
And you see that he's smoking a cigarette, just casually twisting his instrument in his hand, humming a melody very gently.
And I feel a little disgusted with myself as I lean in to bite him.
But you do.
But I do.
Then you lean in to bite him out of nowhere. And as you taste his vita, please roll your self-control with difficulty 6.
Too late. Oh, I'm all right. I've got 3 successes.
Then how much do you drink?
2.
Then you control yourself and your hunger.
And since he's sort of sitting, I can just use a hand to keep his back mostly upright whilst I feed. But my other hand moves to sort of catch his hand with the instrument and gently lower it to the floor as I feed. And just once I'm done, gently sort of lean him back against a wall or whatever's sort of behind him, and gently step away.
And you disappear.
And I return back to the hotel.
And what are you doing back at the hotel?
I believe I have a gangrel to jailbreak.
You do. Are you gonna call Janina?
Yes, I, the player, definitely had not forgotten that.
The things I should remind you of is that you have a ghoul, ish, and you promised to call Janina.
Yes, I'm not sure that Bea is remembering about
That's
the ghoul.
fair. That's fair, but I want to
That
make
was an
sure
intentional forgetting.
That's fair. I want to make sure you remember, so that we don't have, you. If you think Bea would have forgotten, I absolutely believe that.
Yeah, that's fair. She does that a lot. In which case, I will return to the hotel now that I feel a bit more fed, and I will ask to use the phone at the desk.
No problem. Again, you're taken to the back room where you can use the phone.
The number is starting to feel a little more familiar to me.
And you call the Haven. Janina, you are trying to focus on Hannah, asking her some questions. She's telling you about the teacher who is very stern, very intense in trying to teach, and giving a lot of sermons about communism and raising the working classes as well, from their ignorance. And Hannah is a bit confused by it all. You see that she doesn't really understand. She just repeats some stuff. And then the phone rings.
I'll pick up. Because Bea is also on my mind because I worry. So I pick up, and even before anyone answer, I just say Bea.
Yes.
Oh my god, thank you for calling.
I'm glad to hear your voice.
But I hear your voice too. I'm thinking about you and I'm so worried, but I know you'll do good. And you'll do what's right for you if the situation will call for it.
I've got to come back to you and to Antoni.
You really do.
Yes.
So please just be safe. Are you well fed?
I just got back from that, yes.
Okay, good. I'm glad.
Just keep in mind about the other me.
Okay, yes.
Just if you see me again during this period, be cautious.
Okay. Do you know an estimate time?
I don't have any estimate.
Okay.
I think Antoni was threatening to come get me if it goes on too long.
Well, I will join him. You know that, so
I don't want
you better
either
be
of you
coming back soon.
I want to come back. I want to come back to both of you.
Please do. Just be safe. And don't trust them. But
I'll try.
I hope you will get to see Felicia. At least something useful for you, for your personal life. And some closure, I guess.
As she says that, there's a sort of unpleasant sensation in my chest as I'm torn both between the intense sort of love and yearning that I have for her, for my mother, and then also just this hurt and this anger and this frustration and a bit of resentment. And I don't know which one's winning out there. I think the love is kind of overpowering it at the moment. I kind of want to push through the feelings if I can.
I mean, you don't.
I'm not actively trying to do anything, but I just. It's the sort of I want to push through that emotion almost.
You don't have to roll to resist
Okay.
the blood bond to feel like resentment and abandonment. That's kind of can be tied into that emotional mix. If you were to try to speak ill of Felicia, I might ask for that.
I don't know that I'm necessarily wanting to speak ill of her, but I'm maybe wanting to speak a bit more honestly about how I'm feeling.
That's all right, I think.
Fair enough then. In which case, I sort of go, I almost hope I don't see her again.
Oh, I'm sorry then. I keep bringing her up.
It's all right. It's very confusing. I love her so much, but it hurts. And she can just have another daughter, and that I presume is fine for her. I don't know.
Well, let's just not make any assumptions. So you'll see how things go, and if you even meet her, just remember that me and Antoni, we love you, and we want you back, and I'm sure other people too.
There's a slightly long pause, and then I'm scared I'll forget.
That you would forget us?
Yes. I don't want to.
I just paused her for a bit too, trying to figure what to tell her, and you won't forget us. You never forgot me, and I'm sure Antoni is deep in your heart as well. So, but if in any case you'll forget, I promise we'll find you and we'll remind you. We will never forget you.
I know I'll know the feelings when I see you again. I'm scared of losing myself somewhere down there.
Just do whatever you need to survive, and we'll deal with everything once we regroup and see each other again.
I love you.
I love you too. You're the best sister I could have ever hoped to have.
You're my best sister.
We'll meet again. I know it.
Good. I'm gonna need your stubbornness.
Of course, and I need you to hold me down and be there for me. And Antoni needs you too.
And I find myself nodding and then realizing that she can't see me.
Everything's gonna be fine. Just think about your survival first, and everything else, we'll deal with it. Just come back. But even if you don't, I promise, we won't forget about you, and you matter.
I love you all.
I love you too. We'll be waiting.
Good.
Be safe.
You too. And with that, I hang up.
And I hang up, and then I just sit there for a bit, trying not to be super worried, because I try to be very calm on the phone because I didn't want to stress her more. But once it's gone, I'm so worried about her.
Are you showing it, or are you trying to put on a face for Hannah?
I'm not crying. I just sit there, but I'm definitely tense.
Okay. Just gonna have a... So as you are sitting there, you disconnected the phone, hang up. Hannah looks to you and just asks, "Is something going on with Bea?"
She's having some tasks and work that's very dangerous. I know she can do it, but I'm so worried about her. There's nothing I could do to stop her from going, so we just have to wait and trust that she'll make it back.
There's so much danger in your lives.
I'm sorry, Hannah. This life is very dangerous, and I'm sorry for bringing you into all of that.
Are we safe here? You said previously that it's better to go to the hotel.
It is.
Maybe we should go back there.
Yes, we will. We will tomorrow. I just need a bit more time away from everyone, because I'm sure I'll have to speak to people about what happened, and I just can't. I just can't deal with people. I don't want to be around people, our people, or other people. I just need a little more time, but we'll come back. Don't worry. We're safe here, at least for now.
I'm glad.
If you feel safer, you can return back, of course.
Don't want to leave you.
Well, you don't have to. Or at least leave in the morning during the day. I would be calmer.
I'll stay with you, Janina. I don't want to leave you on your own.
Okay, then. I'll appreciate that, and I just a gesture for her to sit so I could hug her.
And she sits and lets you hug her and wraps an arm around you and leans her head against you.
And I just probably start asking her some additional questions about her writing classes and just stuff like that.
And she tells you clearly as you're asking, trying to come up with stuff to tell you, to distract you. Meanwhile, Bea, you hang up after talking to Janina. How are you feeling? What are you doing?
I think I hadn't processed how scared I am of losing Janina and Tony, Roman, to others, until I said it out loud. And I'm just standing there sort of staring at the phone. And I just try to think about what it was Incertum said yesterday. And try and focus on that idea of who I am at my core. And I feel like for a very long time I've been trying to make my whole self be servitude to the Camarilla that ultimately can and probably will just discard me, or at least they'll easily move on once I'm gone. But there's always been loved ones, even if those loved ones changed, died, moved on. That feels more true to me, more consistent. And so I just try to hold on to the idea of loved ones. And after a couple of moments, I step back and I start walking to the stairs that lead to the basement.
And you walk there. And you walk down the stairs. And you have the key to the boiler room where Arek is.
As I was coming downstairs, if there was the side door to get out of, if that was sort of en route, then I'll have made sure to sort of keep an eye on sort of like foot traffic and whatnot, and maybe sort of glance out of it quickly. Actually, would there be... I'm thinking about the convenience of getting Arek out of here, and given how messed up his appearance is at the moment, I'm thinking I'll need something to cover him with. If there's a way of finding a jacket to nab, then that's something I'd be keeping an eye out for.
You can take like a hotel staff jacket easily from some locker.
Okay.
So that's not an issue.
Okay.
As you are observing the corridors, you see that there are sometimes people, walking these corridors. It's not super busy right now, but there are some people who walk past, and as you all look out, you see there is a militia man smoking, leaning against the wall of the hotel, quite close to the entrance. Gives you a quick look, there's like a vague familiarity of his face. Maybe you've seen him around somewhere, but you're not really sure. He just looks to you. His eyes narrow for a moment, and then he goes back to smoking.
Okay. I head back down towards the basement after that, and I'm hoping that he will have moved on by the time we get up, but I keep it in mind that I might need to get him to leave without causing a scene. But I descend down the stairs.
So you descend down the stairs and enter the room where Arek is. And you see him lying on the metal table in the middle of a boiler room. You see that his legs are now regenerated. One of his hands is starting to maybe gaining a bit more flesh, but it's mostly withered. The other is completely withered. And as you come closer, you see that his chest, upper arms, parts of neck are covered in occult symbols carved into his skin, his body. Still slightly bleeding.
I say his name sort of softly as I approach.
He moves his head. Yeah.
Arek, you. And I sort of come up to him. I would like to roll self-control to see if I'm able to touch him this time. I know I wasn't previously.
Difficulty 8.
Difficulty 8. Okay, I rolled 3 10s. Apparently today is the day.
You can.
In which case, I sort of come up to him, and this time sort of like almost hesitate as I go to touch him, and then as I sort of realize that I sort of reach out and put a hand on his shoulder and sort of look him over and almost just begin automatically fussing over him and just pulling out like a handkerchief and trying to I guess fuss and just I'm glad you're looking better than when I last left you.
Yes, feeding helped. I still need some more, but kind of looks around almost like he used to, you bringing him bodies to drink from.
We'll see if we can find you something on the way.
We're going.
We're getting out of here.
You see this hope on his face, this enthusiasm, and he tries to sit up.
I help him as
get
best I can.
himself off the table.
Right.
Thank you. Let's get out of here.
Yes. And I sort of put the jacket sort of over his shoulders and try and arrange it as best I can to sort of like
you can help
fold
him,
the collar up.
Like his hands, they're still there. They're just almost dried up, like a corpse. But you can help him move them so that the jacket is just hanging off his body.
Okay. And I sort of spend a moment sort of making sure that he looks slightly more presentable for corridors.
He looks at us, going to have a reminder of this fucking place.
You can burn it later, dear.
I was gonna say, don't be mad if I dump it straight into a bonfire.
And I find myself laughing almost a little too easily, and it's weird of this sort of falling back into what feels like something that I must have done a very long time ago. But I shake it off because that's not important right now. Right. I'm just going to go make sure the corridor's clear. And I step up the steps towards where the door is, and I would like to heighten my hearing and just pause and listen very closely.
Then roll your Perception and alertness.
Okay. I have 3 successes.
Do you hear someone walking along the corridor further ahead? But you can wait until they move away. And you can navigate the inside of the hotel.
Very quietly, sort of, when we're sort of getting close to the door out, I'll go, there was a militiaman here earlier. I'll see if he's still there. I'll get him to leave if necessary. And I will then sort of go.
He says, I can cope with him probably if needed.
I know, but it's easier to be quiet until we have no other option. Harder to go quiet afterwards. And I'll go and peek out.
You peek out and you see that he's still there and observing you clearly as you peek out, with certain alertness in his eyes now.
Okay. I would like to walk up to him, look him in the eyes, and say leave.
Then roll your manipulation and intimidate with difficulty 8.
I would like to spend willpower on this because I need this to not go wrong. I'm sure there's going to be other things I'm going to need to not go wrong, but this is the first of them.
Go for it.
Well, I've already thrown a dice on the floor, so let me go rescue that. Sorry, what was the difficulty?
8.
8. I have an 8 and a 10.
Then you see that his body tenses, and for a moment, you're not sure if he's going to listen.
Brief moment of panic.
As he struggles against it. But then with certain anger on his face, he turns around and starts leaving.
And with that, I'm going very quickly back and I'm getting Arek and we're leaving.
And Arek follows, and you see that he looks towards the man with a look. Roll your perception and empathy. That's what I want to say.
Yeah.
Words are hard today, okay?
That's fair.
This is supposed to be 6. He's not really hiding anything.
That's a 1 there. 2 successes. If insightful counts for them 3.
Yes, it would. So you look at him as he looks after the man who's walking away now, and you see a temptation there, almost a disappointment that you managed to send him away, and certain like hunger, desire for more vita, maybe, or it's not necessarily like any glee. It's just this like But you clearly see that he's looking at this man as the source of blood who got away.
At which point I will sort of, as I'm putting an arm around his shoulder to shepherd him out, I will quietly say, we'll find you someone else a little further away.
He nods and follows you.
And again, I'm using the practice I've had over the last few nights of shepherding bodies into the place and doing this in reverse, I suppose.
Yeah, I mean, you are outside and you are basically 2 people walking the streets. If you covered his chest, which is carved with symbols, with the jacket, you don't really draw that much attention.
Okay. And I guess I end up sort of walking arm in arm with him for a bit, just to try and ensure that, I don't know, like nobody gets separated.
And you start walking towards the garrison.
In that direction, yes.
Yeah. Meanwhile, Janina, you're sitting there with Hannah. Is her company helping? And her attempts to distract you.
It does help distracting me. Like, I'm trying. Like, I still worry because, like, it's not easy for me, like, just to, like, switch and push it away. But it's definitely helping. And like visually, I'm definitely much less tense. I guess. Sorry.
Yeah.
I keep like wiggling my legs, and I just sometimes.
Don't worry. It's okay.
Okay. I think I will just. How much blood do I have? 7. I think I'll eventually like tell Hannah that I will. Well, I have 8. Do I have?
You have
I have
8.
8.
I think
okay.
you should have 8.
Yeah. I have 8. But still, I think I just tell her that I need to like get some fresh air. If she's gonna be fine on her own for a bit, because I don't want her to like to go with me.
Let me just make a roll. She looks to you and asks, "Are you still hungry?"
Okay. Sorry.
No,
Hunter distracted me.
She asks, "Are you still hungry?"
Yes, I am. I think I should.
Do you need to feed from me?
No.
You can, if that would help.
I don't want to. It would help, but I really don't want to feed from you. I really need fresh air.
Are you sure? Because I just want to help.
I know, but I can't. So I just don't want to. It would just not feel right.
I'm willing.
I know you are, but I don't want to. And I just get up. And I just like, I don't want like to be harsh, but I clearly like take a step away from her, because like I really don't want to like feed from her. It just feels like gross to me to be feeding from her.
You see, she's a bit like surprised, but she doesn't. As you step over, like just stand up and start stepping away. She doesn't attempt to stop you.
Okay. I just like smile and just I'll be right back. Just like be 30 minutes at top. I care about you. And I apologize for not doing this, but it just doesn't feel right to me. I hope you understand, and I just like leave the awkward situation.
So you leave the awkward situation and you start heading out to find someone to feed from.
Yes, exactly.
As you are wandering around, roll your perception and alertness.
Oh no. What's the difficulty?
Difficulty is 6.
And I have 3 successes.
3 successes. Then you notice, as you start like looking around to find someone to feed from, you actually notice Hannah, who has followed you, and she's clearly sneaking to, not like attempting to come up to you, but she's kind of hiding behind a corner, and she's observing you.
I'll stop, and I'll just like pretend to like get back, and like pretend that I don't see her. But once I like pass the path, like
she does attempt to retreat,
I just like turn around and I just like, what are you doing here?
She goes all red.
I just give her like a smile.
I'm sorry, Janina. I wanted to. I'm sorry. I just wanted to make sure you're okay, and I
am okay. Please.
I was curious.
Curious to watch me drink.
I want to know about you.
Oh, okay then. I guess it's fair for you to come along. But please just like stay away in case like something was wrong. It should be fine, but just
If you don't want me here, I can go back.
no, I would right now. We are far away from like a haven. I would feel safer with you, for you to be with me.
Well, I'll stay here then.
Okay, and I just like I don't feel too hungry, so I feel everything's gonna be fine. But I'm more mindful about because I know like she's watching, and I don't want like to scare her or gross her out. So I just like instruct her to like stay away and like not approach me until I'm done, in case like I'm frenzied or something. And if she like, I won't tell because I'm like pretty sure I'm gonna be fine, so I'm not gonna be scaring her with some like run if you see me like kill the person.
No, you're not feeling like hungry.
So I just like tell her like to stay, to not approach me until like I'm done, and then I'll continue pretending that I don't know that she's like following me, but I'm very much aware of it.
Roll your wits and alertness with difficulty 7 to see if you find someone to feed on.
Okay, I have 3 successes again, 2 8s and 9.
Then you do, as you are further away from your haven, among some of the newly built or like restored blocks of flats, like the similar to the ones you're in, just further away. You see a fairly young man step out of one of them. Someone leans out of the window, you think might be his mother, just telling him, just like make sure you're not back too late. And he's just like saying yes, yes, waving his hand, and starts heading off into the streets. And you can find him. You can follow him and find him when he's...
I will follow him, and I sneak up on him from behind, and I'm just like being very careful, and I'm definitely gonna spend a willpower.
Right, so spend a point of willpower and roll your stealth, dex, and celerity.
Okay. No, stealth, dex. Okay. What's the difficulty?
6.
Okay, then 5 successes.
Without an issue, you sneak up on him. He doesn't even notice anything. And you grab him and bite into his neck.
I do, but I'm doing it like especially like gently because I don't want to scare.
So you gently grab him and bite into his neck.
Yes.
Before he can realize what's happening. Yes. And how much do you drink?
Only 2.
Only 2.
The safe amount.
It's fine. You only gently assault a man.
Yeah.
You are in control. And you leave him there.
Yes, I'll gently like. I will set him like sit him on like a stairs if there are like stairs in the like entrance to the building.
Maybe, yeah.
Yeah. So I'll sit him there like, and I'll probably wait a bit.
Groaning as you're like fiddling with him, trying to sit him up. You see he's slowly coming to.
I just like whisper. I will spend like maybe some longer, like a few seconds longer with him, because like I want like to Hannah to see that like I'm caring. So like I just like sit him gently and like make sure that he's like calm and like wrap his coat more around him and just like pat him on the head and just like, sir, I hope you're all right. And then I just like leave towards where
he's still fairly dazed. He like groans in response, clearly regaining consciousness, but doesn't before you leave. Doesn't fully like realize what's happening. And you leave and you go back to Hannah, who is sitting around the corner looking at you. with a bit wide eyes.
Are you okay? You
Yes. Is that what you do?
Yes.
Just attack people on the street?
Well, not all of us are doing it like this. I'm just not very good at talking and
Why don't you
seducing
drink
people.
more from the clinic?
Because I don't want to. Well, once we have more, I'll definitely.
There's more. There's
know.
enough, Janina.
I know, it's just.
Is that what everyone does? From your people?
Yes, but not in this way. Like some people do it more romantically, if I would say.
Oh my God.
I'm sorry. I know you find it so gross. That's why
It's not gross, it's scary. I mean, I'm not scared of you. I know you wouldn't hurt someone, and you.
Yeah, you're not thinking about all the people she hurt.
Self-control and subterfuge.
Oh no. I think I'm spending another willpower.
Go for it. Difficulty is 6.
Okay. So subterfuge.
Fine, it's only a couple.
Self-control and
Okay.
subterfuge.
Do I have a penalty on this?
Yes.
Okay. I have 110 because I had 2, but also 1, so 1 success.
And 1 for
Plus
willpower.
1, yes, so 2.
That is less than Hannah.
Oh no.
Roll 3.
Uh-oh.
Uh-oh.
Who, as she says, I know you wouldn't hurt anyone, and you remember that you did actually hurt people on some occasions. She looks to your face and you see more fear in her eyes and worry.
I try to place my hand on her shoulder. I'm sorry, I never hurt people on purpose, but that's why we should feed very often, because sometimes when we are very hungry, we just can't stop, and it did happen to me. I hurt someone because of this, because I was too hungry and I couldn't stop.
But it doesn't happen anymore.
No, it doesn't. It didn't happen in a while, I guess.
Well, it happened fairly recently.
I don't know, I don't remember.
Yeah.
I remember it in player time.
Yeah, no, in the game time, it happened just before you took Hannah to Hotel Bristol.
Okay. Yeah, that was far away.
She kind of looks to you, and you see that she wants to trust you, and she just
I think
more.
Janina just doesn't remember the exact she
Yeah.
So she's per se lying. She's just being vague.
Yeah.
I'm trying to be much more careful. I do.
Okay. All right.
And now that you know, I'm sure you'll always remind me to be on top of my game and keep
You
myself.
should feed from me sometimes, Janina. It's better than hurting someone.
Would it be better for you if I did that?
I don't know. I don't know. I shouldn't have followed you. I'm sorry.
I'm sorry I disappointed you. I know this life is just not it has a lot of good stuff, like being strong and other stuff, but yeah, it's not great. If I could, I would rather be a person.
You are a person.
No, a human person, a mortal person who wouldn't have to worry about attacking people when starving. And hurting
You're
people.
hungry now.
No, I'm very full. I feel very good. You don't have to worry. As I said, I'm recently trying to keep myself well sustained, so I didn't make any accidents.
Sorry.
No, you don't have to be sorry. I'm sorry for disappointing you. I just didn't want to tell you right away because you were so scared. I needed you to get adjusted a bit.
I suspected, but I'm sorry. Let's go back. It's cold.
Most of our people, like from the Camarilla, they make sure that they don't hurt anyone. Yeah, so you don't have to be scared of them. That anyone would like attack you for no reason. Sometimes it just happens. Especially with us younger ones who aren't yet so used to this life.
All right. I trust you,
Let's go home.
And you see that she means it. She trusts you, but she is clearly like unnerved by what she's seen.
I'll just
both
hold her
you
hand.
do and in your face.
I'll hold her hand as we walk back.
You're walking back with her to the haven. And what's on your mind? How are you feeling?
I think for the first time, in the whole since Daniel died, I was really forgetting about that because I was so worried about Hannah, and that distracted me. Not in a good way, but yeah, it occupied me because I do feel bad for lying to her. Well, not lying, but not telling her everything, and I hate her being scared of me. But I want to be honest with her, even if it's slowly with everything. But if she's to survive and thrive in this world, I want her to be ready and know everything.
Do you feel guilty for drawing her into this world?
I do. I really do. I just feel that everyone around me, well, especially her, because she didn't choose this, but I just couldn't let her die because I don't know. And now she's stuck with me, and I just worry, and I hope that she's gonna make it and be fine.
And with those thoughts, you're walking back with her to your haven.
Yes.
Meanwhile, Bea, you are walking with Arek away from Hotel Bristol. And you see that he is looking around as you're walking, clearly looking for someone to drink from.
I think I'm also keeping an eye out because I don't like seeing him hurt. And there is an awareness in the back of my head that this is going to get somebody hurt and probably killed. But I'm trying to push it aside as best I can right now and trying to ignore that.
All right. So you're also looking for someone to feed from. Then roll your wit and alertness with difficulty 7. No, 8. No, 8 it would be now. Yeah.
I have 3.
You have 3 successes. Oh, actually, it has. Wait, that was wrong.
He's better at this, I guess.
No, his penalties.
Oh shit! Yeah. Oopsies.
Still, you see almost immediately, just a moment after he does, um, a woman walking along the street on her own, looking around from time to time, fiddling with her necklace, clearly preoccupied with thoughts, looking a bit nervous. And you see that she turns into one of the darker streets, speeding up a little bit in her step.
And I see her and I feel just my heart sink slightly, because I think part of me had hoped that there wouldn't be anyone. As much as it was weird to be torn in both, I want to ensure that he's taken care of, but also I can see how this is going to play out. And I hate that. But I'm aware he's seen her as well.
He looks to you, looks around once more, and then says, "Just a moment."
And I don't actively stop him.
Then you see him follow the woman, and his hands aren't still working, but he just runs after her, and she looks back, and she looks clearly scared. She gives this little shout, looks around, starts running, but he's faster. And he just jumps on her, pinning her to the ground, and with his legs holding her in place, and bites into her neck, and starts drinking, and drinking, and drinking.
And for a few moments I'm frozen there in shock, I guess. Like, even though I had mentally had it out in my head, it kind of the Arek sees her, goes after her, down, but I'd not actually witnessed it, and now that I'm seeing it play out, there's this feeling of horror in my chest and disgust at myself for not stopping him yet.
I would like you to roll your conscience.
Yeah, that's fair.
As you're standing there in shock.
Fair and valid.
You did not attempt to intervene.
I did not.
Difficulty is 8. Did you just lose your humanity?
I just rolled double ones.
All right. In which case, you will get some more derangements.
Spicy.
And we'll discuss that in between sessions.
Good.
But what's going on for Bea's head? Because it's not guilt.
It's not guilt.
And please lose one humanity.
Yep, sure. Okay. Bye-bye. Okay. So there is that sort of feeling of shock. But then I catch myself and I sort of think about how this must be what it is like for the Sabbat. And I need to get him back to the Sabbat, and he's going to help me become stronger and be less afraid. And maybe this is part of it. And then there's something after that point that I need to think about later, but I can't think of it right now. And I need to do whatever I can. And so I just watch with this kind of fascination and trying to understand and learn almost. And then I sort of catch myself and sort of keep an eye out on the surrounding street. But I find myself sort of looking back with that fascination.
And eventually he finishes and looks up at you, and there's some blood on his face, and he you
I
see
walk
that
towards him.
you walk towards him, you see that one of his hands, the one that was slowly regenerating, has regenerated a bit more. He has more of a movement, and it's still looking kind of faint and weak, but he can control it better, and he wipes his mouth, but not really very carefully. There's still some blood on his face.
At which point, without even flinching, I take out my handkerchief and I take him by the chin and I actually tidy up his mouth a bit.
He kind of smiles at it and says, "Ah, that's better."
I'm glad. Now, we should move on.
We should, yes.
And I take him by the arm again and glance back around the street, and I don't look down at her as we move on.
You don't. And you keep walking. And I would like you to roll your perception and awareness with difficulty 8 as you are
Okie dokie. Perception and awareness. What's my difficulty? 8.
8.
I have a single success.
Have a single success. And as you're approaching the garrison, you begin to see the trees and the empty space that surrounds it, although the dark figures of the buildings are still hidden. You hear this angry noise and pain, and you see 2 crows fighting over something very violently. One is just going into another with a beak and with claws, scratching, tearing pieces of flesh and feathers out. It's a very loud, very violent scene, and your eyes fixate on this omen for a moment. And with a single success, you don't know exactly how to interpret it, but you know it means violence and death.
Great!
Arek doesn't really pay attention.
That's fair.
He's walking ahead,
I sort of hung
looking
back
to you, then ask, "You're right?"
and I sort of shake myself as my pupils sort of contract again. Yes. Sorry. And I walk faster to catch up with him.
You catch up with him, and you begin to see in front of you the low buildings of the garrison. It's quiet, you don't hear much from there. It's a dark night, and the buildings are dark. What are you feeling? What's on your mind as you're walking with Arek approaching?
A bit of hesitation at approaching the buildings, but this is where he's meant to be. This is where I needed to get him to, so I'm glad that I've managed to get him here. And I'm relieved that he's safer now.
Are you thinking of yourself and your situation at all?
A little bit, but I'm trying not to. I suppose part of it is, like, as I look at the crows, there is that sinking feeling, but I tell myself that I'll get stronger. And I try and push it aside and focus on Arek.
And you walk with him towards the garrison. And I think this is a good place to end. Thank you very much for playing.
Thank you for running.
And thank you to everyone who's been watching. We hope you enjoyed it and really appreciate you being here with us to continue this story. We will be back in 2 weeks, which will be on the 9th of July. So we hope to see you again to see what Bea encounters in the garrison.
It's gonna be fine.
What's going to happen next for Janina. So we will be here the same time, 6:30 p.m. British summertime. And until then, keep well and good night.
Good
Good
night.
night.
Bye.